Yesterday we discussed about required field validator, compare validator, and range validator. Today we'll see how to work with the regular expression validator. Okay. Now, for this regular expression validator, we are going to create regular expressions. So, what and how those expressions are going to work, that we will discuss. Okay. Here I'll have something called email. This is my static text. Obviously, beside it, you would like to have what? Text box. So to get that text box, I go to toolbox, drag and drop text box, go to properties, ID, txt, email ID, txt email. Okay, that is your text box. Now, after that, what you have to do, whatever the email ID I enter in this text box, we require to see whether it is uh, provided in a perfect way or not. So that we require to use now. So for that, what to do? Go to toolbox. Here we will have regular expression validator. Okay, I placed that control, and after that I go to properties and will make few properties. Now here comes first ID. ID. ID I'll give regular expression validator email. Email. Yes. Regular expression validator followed by what? Email. Then I give forecolor red, text invalid, email ID, error message, please provide valid email ID. That will be your error message. And where you want that control, to which control this you want to link now? Text box. So txt email. And what is the format? What format you want to check? So that you have to specify now. You have to specify. What is it we have to specify? There is something called, just come down here, validation expression. Validation expression, browse, browse, and I should select here internet email address here. I'll copy this and explain you what it is once we complete this design part. Copy this, keep it in notepad so that later on I'll just show you how is it going to work. Okay. Internet email address. Click on OK. Yes. We got the format. We got the format. What else now we want? Before I go further on this part, we would like to first check what is the meaning of this code. This code. Okay. Now, first point, /w That pattern means word. So I write Ahmed. After that, I can use, that is concatenate. I mean, this plus operator is concatenate. Concatenate what? Either you can use hyphen, or you can use dot, or you can use apostrophes. These are the special characters that you can have. So I better use hyphen. So from this set of characters, I used hyphen. Then I said what? Slash W again. Slash W means one more word. Yeah. Ahmed hyphen I gave. After that, what we have? Again word. Word. Now I'll use Sharif. And that you can find here, this complete. This complete is followed by star, which means I can use these for multiple times. I can say hyphen Hyderabad. That repetition you will say. Repetition. Or else I can say dot HYD. Yes, possible. I can use. Again, you want hyphen? Hyphen TG. Multiple times, your wish. That's what star indicates. Repetition. You can repeat that. And when you're done, I say here after that, at the rate. This one. At the rate. Then we have word. So I'll say Yahoo. After that, you can use either hyphen or dot. Okay, I use dot. After dot, I have again word. Okay, dot co. Again after that, now this part is repeated again. This part. So I can say again, co you said. The again I can use dot. Again I can use w. Dot in. And rest of all also your wish. Like if you're interested, you can specify that also. So now I'll do one thing. I'll give this format and we'll check whether the ID what I'm giving is valid or not. Chalo, right. Let's see and run the code. That ID which I have explained, the same will see whether it is valid email ID or not. I'll paste here. Valid. We didn't get error. We didn't get error. Just skip at the rate. Skip at the rate. Submit. Invalid email ID. Please provide valid email ID. Error. Yes. So what is this called? Regular expression validator. And this is the way how it works for us. Built-in. I didn't write anything in it. We got built-in. Ready-made. Okay. Now we are going to learn the next one. That which you call as custom validator. Here we are going to assign our value. I mean our code in it. Complete code itself will be written by me. We don't talk about any ready-made code now. For all these controls, coding was done automatically. And now whatever I'm going to show you is a concept where we are going to write our own code. You don't get any built-in code for that. Okay. So what is it? Chalo, right. So let's start here. Enter number. Yes. enter number. Beside it, you want to have text box. Yes, text box. Right click, properties, ID, I refer, txt number. Yes. What did I give? Txt number. After that, what do you want to have? You want to create custom validator. So user defined logic will be added here. User defined logic is added. How would you add? Go to toolbox. Now I keep custom validator, drag and drop. Yes. Now right click on that control, go to properties. Now make all those settings. First ID, custom validator, where I'm going to write a logic for odd value. Means I'll input one number in the text box and then I'll write a logic. That logic will return me whether whether given number is odd number or not. If it is odd number, fine. If it is even number, it's error. It will give you an indication. Okay, simple program I'll do. Odd value. Okay, now go on top. Then 4 color. This is for error message. Okay. Text I'll give. Not an odd number. Not an odd number. Error message. Error message. We'll do one thing. Error message we don't define here. I'll define error message through coding. We'll do that. Because every time we were defining here, custom validator, we'll manage it with this one. Okay. And then I say here, control to validate. Control to validate. Txt number. Okay. And then function also you only should create. Now server will not return any code now. Everything you have to do now. Okay then. So client validation function I'll write. We are checking now is odd number or is odd. Okay. Just write the function as is odd. But after giving this, now what you have to do is you have to write the code for this process. Is odd is there. You have to write a code for this. Okay. Now whatever the code I write, you understand every line of it clearly. So that will help you in understanding the custom validation in ASP.NET for validation controls. Okay, so let's see them. Save this. Go to source window. Go on top. You have your head section. In this head section, we will write script text oblique JavaScript. Yes. Then I say function is odd. And in this function, which I'm going to create now, you will have 2 parameters. How many parameters? Two parameters you have to set. Compulsory. What are? And it's fixed. Not less than 2, not more than 2. Exactly 2 parameters. What are? One parameter is src, representing source. Second, we have args function. Now remember, src means it will create reference to validation control. src will create reference to validation control. Args will access value of the text box. I once again repeat, SRC will create reference to validation control. What validation control? Custom validator. Now, to that it will create a reference. That is what the meaning is. Okay, and what is the second one I'm saying? Second one. First one is this one. What is second one I said? Args. What it will do? It will allow you to access. It will allow you to access. What it will allow to access? Value of the text box. Value of the text box. So two options we have. Let's see what does it. First, see that you have a number in it. You have a number. You should add. If we have a function is nan function, it is built-in function. What is not a number? So we are checking that it should be a number. Then what should be a number? The value in the text box. Then we write args, our variable, dot value. Okay, one condition. Then second condition, or whatever number you gave in it, see that it is to be checked whether remainder is 0 or not. If it is 0, it means it is not your odd number. If 0, check that now. Args dot value mod 2 equal to 0. Yes. This is the condition. Okay. What do you want to do in this? What do you want to do in this now? Yes, you want to check. You want to check what args dot is valid equal to false. Yes. This will check now. This will check. What you're checking? Whether it is valid or invalid. And you have set the value to what? False. Args dot is valid equal to false. What is the meaning of it? The value provided in the text box is invalid. That is the indication for it. And you want to have error message also now? Yes. src, our variable, dot error message dot value is equals to src dot error message is equal to args dot value concatenate, put your message. What is the message? Is not an odd number. Semicolon. Yes. This is the code which we have manually added. Manually we added for JavaScript, for custom validator. So let's run and see whether it will respond or not. Execute. Okay, I'll check last one. Enter number. First you check all, everything I did validate now. Number. Enter number. I'll give 12. Not an odd number. 12 is not an odd number. Okay, give now. 13. Yes, error message is removed here. Message is removed here. Means the number what you gave is valid. That is called what? Custom validator. You yourself have added a code. This is a code which is written by you, and this is the only code that will be available even at browser. Even at the browser. Acha, interesting thing here is you might have noticed, especially the property. This is actually, an interview related query, the one which I'm talking about now. And what is that query we have is currently for this custom validator, if you go to property, here you see here I have used what I have used client validation function. I used client validation function I used, and function name I gave as is on. Now what I'm saying is, for example, assume that in your browser, the browser in which you are executing your application, in which you have disabled JavaScript. Assumption. You have disabled what I'm saying? JavaScript you disable. Now when you disable JavaScript, then obviously that client side validation will not happen because you disable JavaScript. Client side validation will not happen. At that time, there is another property which have been provided, and it is called, just one second, see where it is. Control to validate, let focus. Validation. Okay, might be the server property, no? So let's see once the code there. Here, let me see whether it shows here or not. What is the function name you require to write is src dot somewhere one event will be there. It's called server validate. You should handle that event. Server validate. Okay. Server validate. Let's see then. Event notice. Event. So let me write protected void server validate. Yeah. Server event it is. You should not write in this part. When to write that server validate function, I'm saying, when do you write that? If your JavaScript is disabled in your machine, in your browser where you're executing your application, if JavaScript is disabled in it, then we go with that part. Okay. Now these are some of the additional things we are learning now, and one additional feature is, however, submit button, you know very well. Submit button. It's checking validation. Whenever you click on it will check all the validations. So what I now want is, Sometimes I want to check validations as compulsory. Sometimes I just want to bypass them. I'm not interested. I don't want to check any, what do you call, validations. I don't want to check any conditions. So for that part, I'm writing this toolbox, place a button. Okay. Right click, go to properties, text, cancel. I'm not interested. ID, BTN, cancel. Plus, there is one special property here called causes validation. Make it false. Bas, over. Now see what happens. Difference you see. Yes, first submit. Yes, validations are being checked. Form is not submitted to server. You can see back button is still disabled. Okay. Run the form again. Okay. Now click on cancel. Yes. No validations are checked. Form is submitted to server. Form is submitted to server. How this has become possible? Because I have set the property for this. I have set the property for this. What's the property? Causes validation. Causes validation. And I made that causes validation as what? False. So that when you click on a button, cancel button, without checking any condition, form will be submitted to server. Form will be submitted to server. So now let's go. Now we'll go with second scenario. Second, in additional features, I said, na? One, I have shown you how to skip validation. They added a button and I tried with that. Okay. Anyways, now second part. Now what I will do, I will create one more text box. Enter name. Okay. And beside it, you want to have, I'll just do everything there on. Enter name. You want to have first name text box was there, no? Same thing, I'll copy paste. Okay. This one. Complete as it is and copy. Just make corrections. Yep. Now you give here ID txt name. Txt name. Run at server. Okay. Now, same. Required field validator ID. Same thing. RFV, required field validator name. Okay. Then what else you need? Control to validate txt name. Please provide name. Red required. Okay. All the things I have mentioned as it is. Same. Design. Is it the same you have? Same thing now. And what I will do, wantedly, what I will do, I'll copy this button and I'll paste here. Button also. But not interested for text as submit. I'll say OK. ID BTN OK. Binder. Save. Design window. Yes, OK button is also add. But now interesting thing is, if you run a code, just assume I click on this OK button. Then also the validations are being checked. Rerun again. Click on submit. This is also being checked now. This is also being checked. So it means whether you click on submit or you click on OK, the total page is validated. What it will do? It will check all validations of the page. All. Acha, we will do one thing for our understanding. We'll do one thing. And what I'll do, here only, here, for the second part of this design window, I even will keep validation summary also for this. Wantedly. Let's go and see what happens. Validation summary. Chalo, right. Somewhere I'll keep here. Okay. Validation summary. Yes. Save. Now run the code. Click on submit. Yes. Whatever the messages that we were getting earlier on the top validation summary, the same things are being displayed here also. So, but now my interest is when I click on OK button. When I click on OK button, it should validate only this part. This part should not touch the other content of the page. Should not touch. You getting me? So for that, the process will be like this. Process. Simple. Now how to make divisions now. Validations, the rules. Now what is the rule? Here. First select this. Go to properties. Here there is something called validation group. Validation group. Now in this validation group, I'll give the name as G1. Yes. Then I'll select this text box, go to properties, then validation group G1, then required field validator, right click properties, validation group G1, then button, right click properties, validation group G1. Yes. All I have set for the group now. Now see the difference in working of now OK button and submit button. Yes, submit. Only this part is validated, not this one. Okay, rerun the code again. Now click on OK. Only this part is validated, not this one. So now we are in a position to create groups in single page when content is being submitted to server. Okay, and one more thing, this is for your knowledge. I'm saying, and I mean to say, we regularly see it. We regularly see it, especially when you work on internet. On when you register yourself into various domains, not always like for email ID. It may be for your Facebook account, or it is for your email, or it is for Twitter, or it is trying to create an account on any online shopping portal. So every point where we have registration form, okay, you just imagine what we were provided there. Then only you can understand this scenario in a simple way. Run the code. Imagine now, if you are trying to create an registration, if you are trying to register for your email account on say for example Gmail. So this registration form will come, and in that registration form you can see already wherever important fields will be there, you find star marks, or it will mention that compulsory you should get some identification there. The moment you open a form, it is not like you get the indication after submitting the form. Before submitting the form itself, you will get an information that what are the fields which requires compulsory, what are optional. You won't get that after submission, you get that before submission. Exactly same thing I would like to have now for my page. I need to know where compulsory information, where optional information. I want that to have. So for that, what to do is go there and then you write. What you have to write is page dot validate is a function. Yes. Now run the code and see the difference. Already you got message. See the difference you see. That will give you an indication that you require to have what compulsory fields, that all indication you got in advance. Earlier we were getting this when we were submitting. Now we got that before submission. And we validated the page using a code, page.validate. Page.validate. You want to validate only the second part? Okay, I'll just comment this. Here I write validates complete page. I want to validate only second group. Validate G1. Okay. Group 1 I need to say. Okay, then let's run the code. Yes. First one is not validated. First one depends on submit. Second one, direct validation. It means that page.validate has two ways of approach. If you don't write any group, validates complete page. If you specify a group, then validates specific group. Specific group validates. Now my interest is understand clearly please. Page.validate was validating what? Total page. Page.validate with group name was validating only second part. Now I want to validate first, not second. Then what to do? So I can write here page.validate. Just give double quotes and leave off. Don't write any group name. Yes, first one is validated, second is not validated. Three approaches we have. Three approaches. This is to validate specific group. This is to validate specific. No, sorry. First section. First section. Validates first section. Okay. Now what is my interest is, now what is my additional interest is, if I run my code, okay, first page, first section is completely being validated, but I am not interested to get summary. Summary is indication for error messages. No? Error messages I should get when I submit my form. When I submit my form. So for that, I don't want these messages. So for that, I should write this logic. If, hope you remember, not is postback. I already explained you quite more in detail on this part. More in detail. Not is postback. So validate. And in that, you should not get validation summary for the first time. So validation summary, two are there. I want first one. Dot style. We got a property. In that property, I don't want that validation summary disable. None. Means it should not display that summary. Go for it. Yes, summary has not come. Summary has not come. But when you submit now, yes, now you get that. Okay, but interesting thing, don't forget, only when you submit a form, right? The page is, that's only an indication. Here, you're getting these messages now. This is only an indication for you that these are compulsory fields. Okay, you can click on submit, then you'll get those error messages if something goes beyond your validation, something goes beyond your condition. Beyond your condition, then you'll get that error message. Now, what we will try for the last one more scenario, we don't, even if I click on submit button, I don't want those validations to check. So the only way is you have to disable your this one. What you have to disable? JavaScript. So here only I'll do file, tools, internet options, security, custom level. You'll have one option. You should be a little cautious here. You'll have an option called scripting. Come down, come down. Scripting. See where it is. Here, scripting categories. In that, active scripting, and click on disable. Apply. Okay. Are you sure you want to change the settings for this zone? Yes. Click OK. Okay. Now, let's see what happens. Run the code. Now JavaScript is disabled. Click on submit. Page is submitted to submit. Validations are not checked. Validations are not checked because JavaScript is disabled. JavaScript is disabled. Now we'll make again. Enable. Go to tools. Internet options. Security. Instead of going with all those things, again going there, again making enable, it's best you can say that uh, default level. Yes. Click apply. Click OK. Close. Now run the code again. Validations have been checked. And remember, whatever the settings I have shown you now, that is only for Internet Explorer. For Chrome, a different approach is there. For Chrome, if you want to disable JavaScript for Chrome, then different approach we have. And if you want to disable JavaScript in Edge, some other process that you can look into it. That's it. Over. Validation control. This is how you're going to